Okay, so then the next section we're going to be looking at is our informal support, who we could turn to in times of a crisis. So Ian, any thoughts? Who could this be?
Well, there's all kinds of different places that we can turn to when it comes to our informal support network. The first area that we want to be considering is friends and family around us. Anybody that we feel confident and close to talk about what it is that's really bothering us. These are the individuals who, you mentioned before about the friends that might just want to have a little bit of banter. We need to be thinking beyond that. We need to be thinking of those friends that we can really open up to and show our vulnerabilities to. And these people need to be part of our safety plan, because they could be the people that we need to phone up at 2 o'clock in the morning to have a conversation if we're feeling like we might want to act upon our thoughts. But that said, it doesn't just include our friends and family. We need to be making sure that our informal support also covers various helplines and services as well. So think about our charities, our third sector organisations, the likes of our Samaritans, Papyrus, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. Having a bank of different people that we can turn to, different services to turn to at different times, I think is really key within this area.
I'll phone my friend because she knows what it's like as well with mental health. I phoned her and she spoke. We had a chat. She was driving when she was like, hands free. And she actually phoned me back that night as well to make sure I was okay. And she says, what you're feeling is normal. It just felt as if I wanted to cry. And it was phoning my friend. She says, have a cry. If you want to cry, have a cry. It'll make you feel better. So, don't dampen your thoughts down. Don't dampen things down. Really use connections, what you have.
I've got a loving partner. Obviously, she's like a rock. But obviously, sometimes when it's your partner, it's hard to talk to your partner. Obviously, it's hard sometimes to try to explain to your partner because you love her so much. But friends, getting out with friends, having a brew, it's just sometimes to speak to somebody different, away from things sometimes. And obviously, I go volunteer at Andy's Man Club, and just being in them groups, listening to other stories and giving advice and listening to their advice, and it's so helpful. It's just talking is the key, really. It's just rather than sitting there just dwelling in your own head sometimes, it's good to just get out sometimes and talk to others. It is better sometimes to speak to somebody on the outside it's not involved sometimes. It's just so helpful.
Some of the best help that I received was actually really, really sort of low key, I suppose you would think of it. It's people who came to my house and just sat with me. They didn't say anything, or they just pottered around. They made me a cup of tea, left me sitting or lying there, and just pottered around doing their own thing, contacting their family on the phone, working on their laptop, reading, doing whatever. They didn't make any feel that they needed to provide me with advice or make comments to me like at the time.
Okay, I could imagine in a way it's probably quite a hard one to think about sometimes, and maybe how do you start that conversation with somebody about, well, actually I want you, you're part of my plan. And do you recommend that we sort of tell people that you're part of their safety plan?
Yeah, absolutely, because we're going to be relying on these people. We're going to be turning to them when we need help and support, so they need to know what we're turning to them for, so they need to be aware that they're on the safety plan, but we also need to be having quite a frank and honest conversation with them if they're comfortable being on that plan as well, to ensure that they can provide that best support for us. Because some of our friends and our family members and our supporters might relish that opportunity and want to be there for us, but for others that might feel like a very big ask to take on that burden. But regardless, it's about a level of preparedness. It's about thinking about what you want to say to people, almost rehearsing it within your head, writing it down. I'd like you to be on my safety plan, and this is the reason why. But also making it clear what the boundaries are of that relationship. You know, for some people, they might only be able to help at certain times of day. They might not be available at 2 o'clock in the morning if we need to speak to somebody. So it's been really clear with that person about when you want to reach out to them and what that conversation might look like a little bit as well.
I did about 7 or 8 copies, and I chose 8 friends and family who I felt most comfortable with, who I feel would feel comfortable sort of me sharing my safety plan with, and who have been amazing support networks for me.
I have several friends who I can talk to when I'm having thoughts of suicide. Although they do find it quite difficult, they are there for me when I want to talk. In the past, I maybe have talked to the wrong people about it and had bad experiences, but now I know who I can talk to about it, and that's really helpful. I think it's just a question of asking people whether they're okay with you talking about your thoughts, because obviously for some people it's very upsetting and that they can't cope with it themselves. Just the thought that somebody else knows what's in my safety plan, so they can remind me of things I've written down, maybe remind me of my reasons for living, remind me of my what I can do to break that cycle, or the activities I can do, things like that. Just as much as a prompt to kind of have a look at it as well, rather than just thinking, oh, it's there, I don't need to. It's there, it will do its job by itself.
Okay, so the easiest place to find out all that information is to have a look on the Every Life Matters website. We've got a resource directory full of various helplines. It's broken down into loads of different categories, so that's a really good place to start to find out some information about the helplines and various services, and also loads of information about the various charitable organisations that work across Cumbria as well. So take advantage of the support that's out there within the community, and people are always willing to help and listen should you need to talk.
So I suppose that is so important, isn't it? Because you might feel that you've got no one immediate close around you, but there is always someone there. Yes. There is always someone to talk to.
Absolutely. And if you're finding this section a little bit tricky right now to fill out, that's okay. Do a little bit of research, fill it in later, keep revisiting it. I think the beauty of safety planning is it's not a one-time thing. We don't just do it once and leave it leave it complete. We have to keep reviewing it, so let's make sure that we do that and we keep adding people along as we go.
Fantastic.